Welcome back to r/LegalAdvice, where people ask questions, get advice, and we get satisfaction. If you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Florida, realtors have shown up on my property several times to show a plot of land that is for sale. The plot of land does not have road access, so the realtors are just coming down my driveway, walking across my property to show the land to buyers. They say it is legal. I will try to be brief. There's a big plot of land recently put up for sale that is nicely priced, so it has had quite a few people interested in buying it. The problem is, it is surrounded by a subdivision on two sides, a wildlife refuge on another side, and my farm on the fourth side. Access to this property is through this small gap between my farm and a subdivision, somewhat in the corner. It is a dense forest, however, no road at all, and as no one has cared for this property in 40 years. So now I have realtors that have begun driving up my clearly marked private driveway, with clients parking on my lawn and walking 300 feet across my property to go show this plot of land. At first I tried to be nice and explain the situation. My driveway is quite long, listed as a street, 3872 and street name, and that ends right at my house. It might be confusing and I don't want to be rude, so I told them that if they really wanted to show the land, just give me a call so I know ahead of time. Well, this worked once and now they have taken to just randomly driving up again. So I got stern and told them, the realtor company and the agents that have shown up, that this is my property and they are trespassing. They are not allowed to use my driveway to show this property, and my land does not feature any access to the plot of land for sale. If they so choose, they should go up the road to that little gap where a road should be and walk through the forest. Even the MLS listing has that road as the address. They have told me that legally they are allowed to do what they are doing, and that if I wanted to stop, maybe I should buy the land myself. I also noticed that the address to this plot of land is now listed as 3874N, my street name, making it seem like my private driveway is the access point. So I don't really know what to do. I installed a gate at the end of my road, which has increased the number of calls I am now getting, but are these realtors right? I have called a few law offices around town and none of them can give me a good answer. None have any experience in this, so it looks like I will be needing to speak with a lawyer in a bigger city, I suppose. Thank you all. And by the way guys, here you can see a little drawing of the OP to make it more clear what he is talking about. I have commented on the key points in the comment section. Edit number 2, I'm going to go to the county clerk's office later today and confirm everything, even if it means just understanding my own property a little better. It is worth it. I will also be stopping by the realtor's office shortly after. I will post another update after that, I promise. And a user in the comments suggested, put up no trespassing signs at the beginning of your driveway and call the police when you see them. I guarantee after 1 or 2 calls, all realtors will get the word and stop. And guys, I have to say, the solution proposed in the comment that we just read seems pretty reasonable and it could actually work. If you were in this situation, would you do the same or would you do something different than the person in the comments suggested? Let us know in the comments. And an update to the realtor story. I'm going to cut out a big chunk of what happened because it is not super relevant and I don't want to waste time. The gist is, the easement to the property in question is not on my property, but there was an easement there in 1986, however it was relocated when the property was surveyed and rezoned that year. Fast forward, I went to the realtor's office and spoke with the owner of the company. He was pretty douchey, bald, short, fat, wore thick gold chain and a huge watch. Almost like he watched 80s movies and picks up fashion advice from the villains. Anyway, he told me the owner of the property is very motivated to sell the land and that I should just buy it to get rid of the headache. The words he used and the way he said them immediately tipped me off that he was the one telling his realtors to pester me and go through my property, and if I spoke about it, I should just buy it myself. So of course I was not going to do that. I told him that my gate is now locked to all trespassers and that if he's lucky, I will only call the cops when I see any of his employees on my property again. I regret saying that, but I was so frustrated with this guy, you don't even know. So for the next week or so, I saw maybe 2 cars pull into my driveway, get to the gate, get on their cell phones and then drive away. The next week was Christmas and I got a visitor. It was the son of the guy that owned the property, visiting from out of state. His dad, the original owner, had died a few years back and he was now looking to sell it because he doesn't want to pay the taxes and or do anything with it. Apparently someone at the Realtors office told him of what was happening and he wanted to come straighten everything out. He was extremely nice and apologized profusely. I ended up taking him to a bar. This was actually a few days before Christmas. Don't want to send the saddest image possible of 2 older guys drinking alone in a bar on Christmas. Learned a lot about his dad taking him hunting and camping on that property when he was a kid. It was really nice. So the property is about 80 acres in total, appraised at $280,000 but listed at $200K. I told him I would love to buy it and just keep it the way it is, maybe fence it off and add cattle to it, and his eyes lit up. I told him I don't have $200K sitting around and that I wouldn't feel right lowballing him. He kept pressuring me for a number, but I just couldn't come up with one that seemed fair. Fast forward January 2nd again, I get a phone call from the guy asking if anyone has come to see the property in a while. I had almost forgotten that the realtors used to pester me and I was happy to report I hadn't seen any since we last spoke. He told me he took the listing off the market and dropped that realtor's company. He asked me again for a number and I told him 100K was the highest I could see myself going and he said, sold. So a few days later he showed up again with his lawyer, we signed some documents, I wrote a check and we went back to that bar to celebrate. And my farm just got 80 acres larger. Very, very happy. And guys, I'm wondering where you come from. Is 100K for 80 acres of land a bargain or is it super expensive? Let us know in the comments. And the next one is titled Texas, fined for having a gun in my car. Do I have a case for wrongful termination? So this one may be controversial, but I was recently fired from my job for having a clock in my car in the company parking lot. Backstory: in the past I had a small tardiness problem. They gave me one of those bullcrap, if you make it 1 year with no tardis, we will not fire you, chances to keep my job. But that was over a year ago and I've not had one tardy since. So my boss was in my car, we were going for lunch when he started to look around, opening the glove box and stuff as he was being nosy. He tried to open the center console where I keep my gun, but I held it down with my arm. After some questioning, he deduced what was in there. I never actually told him it was there, but it was obvious. Well, the very next day I am called into a meeting where I am basically told I am being fired. I pulled out my phone and started recording. I did not tell them this, as in Texas only one person involved has to know for it to be a legal recording. They pulled out the employee handbook and showed me the rules on weapons in cars, and I will type it out verbatim. Weapons of any kind are not permitted on company property without proper approval or company parking areas, unless prohibited by local law. Then it goes on for 7 paragraphs defining what weapons are and what are considered company parking spaces, and defines what prohibited by local law means. At the same time, I also pulled up the Texas law on my phone while recording. I showed them the law, read it out verbatim, and then pointed to the part of the rule in the EMP handbook where it says unless prohibited by local law. In Texas, you cannot govern whether a gun or a knife can be in an employee's car, even if that car is on company property. They kind of looked at me like I was an idiot. My boss's boss told me that she doesn't care what the law says, and yes, I definitely got that on the recording, that I was in the wrong and that I would have to pay the price. I told her that by all accounts she was in the wrong legally, administratively and morally. I told her that firing me for this reason will leave me no choice but to file a wrongful termination case against the company. I then asked to speak to HR since none of the HR reps were in there. Now this was when she simply left. She told me that fine, if they cannot fire me for the gun, They will fire me for the TARDIS I had 15 months ago. And that was the official reason I was not going to pursue legal action, but they denied my unemployment benefits. I did get the unemployment on the appeal process, mainly because they took longer than 30 days to reply because of year-end bullcrap, but I was told by a friend that with this recording I am probably entitled to a lot of money. I don't want to be greedy, but I honestly think it is the principle of the matter. They fired me illegally. I even have my old disciplinary paperwork that was signed by me and my boss stating that if I go 12 months with no TARDIS, then they would forgive the TARDIS. And guys, it is definitely always nice to hear when the employer says that they don't care about the law. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, a person in the comments said, number 1, their rule is not legal in Texas, where the employer cannot prohibit a licensed gun owner from having a car gun in their locked vehicle. Number 2, this means that if you were fired for having a weapon in your locked car, then your firing was against Texas law. It means you need to be reinstated with back pay. Number 3, it is unclear from the law what happens if it is not a locked vehicle, but rather in use with your employer in the car. I would contact a local attorney and see what it looks like. Odds are that they will have to change this rule and they may need to rehire you, though I wouldn't bet on your tenure lasting given Texas generally pro-employer leanings. And Ripestars, I'm wondering, because I know that many of my viewers are from different parts of the United States, in case you had your gun in the car and were parking on the company parking lot, would you get fired if someone found out or not? I have to admit, I always find it fascinating how different the laws are in the different states of the US. Update to the Texas gun story. So I talked with my brother-in-law who is a lawyer. He does not specialize in this kind of thing, more of an ambulance chaser, but he gave me the suggestion of going through HR. Since the rule does not apply due to Texas law, he said they will likely look at the disciplinary action took and get back to me. So I did just that. It took just 2 days to get a response. Basically, I needed to go to an employee review with my old manager. If that didn't produce favorable results, then arbitration, which by the way is a joke. The funny part is HP split into 2 companies in November. The manager who fired me found herself on the other side of the company, a completely separate company. So the guys doing the employee review was a coworker of mine and a good friend of mine and a manager for the labor company I worked for, Randstad. Short version was the HP Enterprise guy wanted me back. The Randstad guy didn't know me but had no issue reassigning me to a new position as my old department does not exist anymore. So I am getting increased pay starting out for 2 months to make up for the almost 4 months of unemployment. I cancelled my unemployment benefits and probably have to pay that back, but it is only $1,200. I can definitely afford that now. I did not even need the recording or the paperwork. Edit, I have expected this one to get downvoted brigaded like the last one, but apparently the last thread was full of people who don't understand the law. Or they were full of people who said F the law, I go with my gut feeling here. Those people find out the hard way that in Texas you can legally be told you cannot take a bathroom break all day long. And the last one is a little saga and it is titled, Please help, I am 16, my mom just called the cops on my dad saying he abuses me, but he didn't do anything wrong. They are going to come back and I don't know what to do. I asked the question here yesterday and thanks for the help received, but now the situation has changed for the worse. My mom has called the cops on my dad because I'm not visiting and I'm freaking out and I don't know what to do. She is sending hundreds of texts every day and in some she said she would call the police and CPS on my dad, but I didn't believe her, but she did it for real. I was home alone because my dad had left for work. I was just out of bed and there was a knock on the door and it was the police. They said they have a report that my dad is abusing me and locking me up inside the house so I cannot visit my mom. It is not true at all, she is the one who's harassing me and there's a good reason why I don't want to visit. It is because her boyfriend wants me to watch indecent movies with him and I don't want to. I told them many times it was my idea not to go, but I'm not sure they believed me. My mom said she has started telling everyone. She knows that I am a liar, so I'm sure she told them too. They asked if it is true that my dad doesn't want me to visit her, and I said yes, but that is because I asked him. Usually he makes me go, but now we are going to go to court to change the custody agreement. Anyway, I've been told that I'm old enough, 16, to decide if I want to visit or not. They wanted to talk to my dad, but it's not like he can just leave work in the middle of the day. I showed them the text she sent where she threatened to call them. They left, but they will be back to talk to my dad, and now I am freaking out. I don't want him arrested, he's done nothing wrong. My mother was always difficult, but she was not that bad, but now she's going crazy and she wants to hurt us. First the texts and destroying and selling my property, and now this. I called my dad at work, but he cannot come back now. They are short-staffed already. I'm so terrified now, I don't know what to do. I am sure she's going to lie and my dad is going to be in trouble, but he's done nothing wrong. What should I do if the police come back? And a user in the comments suggested, show them the texts and tell them about her boyfriend. Update to the last post, mom calling the cops on my dad who did nothing wrong. My mom and her boyfriend were arrested last night. So the police came back yesterday to talk to my dad. I was terrified there would be a problem, but he kept his calm and told them that I was the one who doesn't want to go to my mom's place. He told them that my mom has been harassing me for weeks and destroying my stuff just like I told them, but he also told them what her creepy boyfriend did and why I don't want to go to my mom's house. I'm not sure I wanted them to know, but that is how it is. They said I was right to avoid him, then they left. I did not know, but after that they went to my mom to talk to her and her boyfriend, it seems. I don't know what they told her, but she started yelling and then her boyfriend pushed a cop and they arrested him. And then my mom tried to get the cop off her boyfriend, so they arrested her too. I know because it was in front of the house and the neighbor's son that I know well called me to tell me. I don't know if they are in jail, but she stopped texting, so maybe. My dad says this is not my problem anymore and there's nothing we can do and to just let go. But I feel really bad, I just cannot stop thinking about it. My mom is not the best mom, but I never imagined that she would be arrested one day. Thanks for helping yesterday, I never thought it would come to this, but that is how it is now. And guys, I don't know about you, what you think about this story, but to me it seems that the mom or her boyfriend, or maybe both of them, have a drug problem or something, because the way they act is definitely not normal. Last update to the mom story, my dad finally got full custody, I won't have to go to my mom's anymore and her boyfriend is in jail on drug charges. Hi Legal Advice, just an update to my posts to say that after all the crazy things that went down, my dad finally got full custody of me, meaning I won't have to go to my mom's anymore if I don't want to. She is out of jail now, I don't know if she got reduced charges or whatever, or if it is because of the virus, but she was released. She's on probation I think, I don't know all the detail. Her boyfriend is in jail for drug charges and hitting a cop. Probably she's going to ditch him now, I hope. She started doing drugs because of him. I really hope she stays clean now that her boyfriend is gone for some time. She has also stopped the threats over child support and the rest. I don't have to see her now and frankly it is great to be free of the drama. It is good for my dad too, he's been a lot more relaxed since we don't have to deal with her anymore. My mom still messages me sometimes, but that's it. Sometimes I answer and sometimes I don't. Anyway, things are going better for me now, so it is good. And guys, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.